Hello, everyone. Welcome to my web university, my YouTube channel, and the series of Linux apps and utilities. We discussed already Linux Ubuntu on this video, and we discussed the update on this other one. So these two videos were for Linux Ubuntu apps and utilities, and we have put a number of other videos for since then. Tonight, I'm going to discuss Linux Ubuntu, not Linux Ubuntu actually. This is checked already, so we already covered that one on video number 14.1 and 2, for 14.1 and 14.1 dash update. The one that I'm going to cover tonight is Rocky Linux, and let's get started with that one. So this is Linux how-to. We already covered, as I mentioned, Linux Ubuntu, and we're going to cover Rocky Linux with apps and utilities. All the apps and utilities that comes with it, or you can install with it, and some of them we're going to discuss on this video. So let's get started with it. First, I want to thank you for watching our channel and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so you get the latest and updates that I post. And I really appreciate your subscription as well as your time, your valuable time watching us, and then making sure that you are learning from spending your time on our channel. So to fulfill that requirement, my job is to just make sure that whatever you request, I'm going to just somehow honor it. And then if I don't have a video, I'll make another video for it. And if I do have a video, I'll point you to the video and I'll respond to your comments. Otherwise, just stay tuned. There's a lot more coming, and it will fulfill some of your requirements. So let's get to the actual Linux Ubuntu. I'm sorry, the virtual machine that I'm going to start. This is Linux Ubuntu that I covered last time. I'm going to start the Rocky 9.2 release. So I'm going to click on the start here to start it. And as I mentioned that I have a mini computer that is very powerful. It has 32 gig. And so I have basically been running a number of other VMs, whether it's Ubuntu Linux or algorithm, which is this is Red Hat or Rocky version or Solaris or other versions. I have a number of them, and then each one of them I give them different size of memory and CPU. That way I can just start them without any issue, since I have 32 gig of memory and 8 cores of Intel 7 processor. So let me just log in here first. As you can see right now, I'm logged on Linux Enterprise Release 9.2 of Rocky version. How do I know that one? I open a terminal. By clicking terminal here, it will just open a terminal here. So if I just change my prompt shell, which is saying unknown host, I don't need to do that one since I did not assign to any host name. Echo $sign PS1 is currently pointing to that, which is /h for hostname, /u is for username, and /w is for home directory. So I'm going to just change that export PS1 just to say only put a prompt symbol $sign there. So now I change my prompt shell 1. So if I do echo again, it's just going to show the $sign, which is good enough for me to say that that is the host that I'm using right now. So if I just say cat -n etc os-release, this file, it tells me that what version of Red Hat Enterprise Linux or Fedora distribution I have. This is basically Rocky, so it is Rocky Linux 9.2, not Red Hat. If it was a Red Hat, the file would be saying that Red Hat, but this is version 9.2 of Rocky. So there's a file called etc install release. You can see there's a file called Red Hat release that is symbolic link to Rocky release in this case, and that file is the content of that file is exactly one line file etc/ Rocky release, one line file saying Rocky Linux release 9.2, and the code name is Blue Onyx. So I did check that one. So that's one of the option we have. In addition to having the open terminal, you can also here under activity, you can just open an external. So I'm going to show you once we come into utilities, how we could just open different utilities and apps. But the objective of this one to discuss the apps and utilities. So let's get started with that one first. If you look at the GUI interface under activities, you have this apps show applications. All the applications that are currently on your system installed, it is going to show you here. And then whatever is under utilities, it will just show here. Utilities, it says disk utilities. So let me just make sure that the font is not too small, not too big, because some of them are showing partially what I want to see in terms of the font. So I could say change display setting. And then here you have by default this size. You can change this one to a little bit a smaller resolution than just that too small. See it, let's check this one, 1024 by 768. And then if you say apply here, and then say keep the change. Now I go back here and then notice my terminal also changed the size of it. So I could do shift control plus, and then the font now is a little bit bigger. You can see it through find it, everything is good. But if I just say open a terminal on, let's just open an external. So if I just click here and then just type in external here, external, that's going to open the external. The size is small. So you could do the size of that one, or you could just say, let's just open an external from here. Notice that one is also by default is small. But the nice thing about command line syntax, if you know the syntax, you could say external minus dark blue minus foreground white, and then minus font size is equal 10, and then minus face in New York. So this is a syntax, and I could just say put it in the background with ampersand. So somewhere the typo was there. Let me just say what font size dash foreground background dark minus BG. For background, I did not put BG. That's why that information was inaccurate. So it gave me a syntax error saying that you need to just provide the proper options with the proper value. So doing that one, open it because I used this ampersand, it opened that one in an ampersand background, dark blue. But if I just say, well, dark blue is good, but I want it really darker than dark blue, then you can just use the HTML code, which would be kind of like tags with red, green, blue numbers. So red would be 00, and since I wanted dark blue, red, green, blue. So this one is 00 also, green, and then the blue would be 20, for example. And then that would just change it to a dark blue kind of font here. And then if I just want the size of it, let's say I want this one to be dark green, for example, and then the blue is 0. And then I want to just change the size to 12 for the text. So the text now is bigger. And then notice that somehow one of the color was not recognized because I must have typed in some errors. Let's see what was the color that I did. I say 02. I meant to be 00 and then 20 and then 0. So this is 00. Red, green, and blue. That is the color that I wanted, and that would work. And similarly, if I wanted red, here I just change this one to 20. And then you don't have to go 20 for all of them. You could do a darker than 20 would be 10, let's say, darker red. So that would be this color. And when you run the commands, everything works here similarly to the other ones, but you have a nicer kind of background and everything that you want to play with, and you can just practice those commands at the same time. And notice that the host name information are not accurate here. The reason is that when I just open the terminal on the etc host file, somehow it is not matching to the proper host name. So I have to update the host name for the DNS to resolve there. And then that would just do it. Since these are local machine, I don't have a signed DNS name, so I could just give it any name and I could assign it. For example, I become root here, sudo su dash, and then I say give the password for the user. And now if I say host name, this is that what is the host name is showing. So I could say host name, and then I could say my web university. University. Let's say I do that one, then now host name is there. Host ID is just going to show the host properly. So every time I type in host name here, it's gonna do that on my web university. And then I could also change the root echo $PS1. And I could say export PS1 is equal. And then just type in my web university space. And then now if I just go there as my prompt, I could just even change it, put a $ symbol here. That way my prompt is showing up here. The actual value that I want to just do it is under etc .css depending on the shell. So echo $PS1 is that set at this time, but when I go echo $shell, that is ben bash. So ID dash UN is going to show me this root. So I could say get end password dash ID, actually root. I could just simply type that. So it's ben bash, and then it is bash. So that means under the root directory, I have a file called .bashrc. If I vim.bashrc and then look for PS1, then PS1 is not set here, as you can see. So that means it is set on the profile, a vim etc profile. And then the profile PS1 is most likely set. It is not showing there either. So I could just go as the regular user, which is here I'm logged on as regular user, ID-UN Wahid. Oh, sorry, I changed the prompt. So let me just log out, ID-UN. Yeah, Wahid. So here, since I'm on my directory, there's a .bashrc here. And vim.bashrc here, look for PS1, PS1. Okay, so on this shell, it is somewhere else. I'm gonna look for it, see where it is there. So when I say echo $PS1, it is already set in the local environment variable. So cd to this, and then clear screen env grep minus I ps1. So ps1 is set to this variable ps1. Whatever the variable ps1 is pointing to, that would be the prompt shell 1 in this case. And then I already set it to that one. So if I say export ps1 is equal, and then I put my web university, instead of my web university, let's say I call it algorithm. So you can change it to anything you want, and then $, and then space, and now algorithm is the host name. So you can do whatever you want on this one, equal $ps1. I'm not gonna just go too much on this one because there's other videos that I already made on this, and change the shell depending on what Linux flavor you're using, what utility you're using. But let's get started with apps and utilities. So by default, some of the apps already come with it. If you look at this software listing of the things that are here, you can see that under utilities, you have a number of utilities that are coming. For example, disk usage analyzer, you can just double click on it. It will just tell you the root, my web university, and analyze it for you, and it reads the whole entire disk, how big it is. It is reading right now and analyzing it, and going to give you an output here. There's a file system, user, home, var partition, etc. All of them are there, and then the entire thing is here under your control. You can look at that one as well. So if I close this one and just come back under the software update, and there's other utilities that comes with it. For example, for the disk, you can look at each of the disks here, and then the entire disk, you can look at it, and so on. And then here you have like a menu that you can just go through them and find out the apps and utilities for it. At the same time, under this file utilities, there's image viewers. So if you have an image that you can just view it, you could look at that one as well. And then I'm going to just later on, I'm going to show you one utility called SSH, which is secure shell. So I'm going to upload some files on a particular directory for images and then document viewers. That way you can see that, well, we can just read files and directories from other locations and just do it. So for the image viewer, let's just cover SSH from Windows environment connecting to a Red Hat machine. So in order to show you that one, I need to open a terminal here, and then I just say IPA, lowercase ip and lowercase a for address, and then it shows you that this machine is connected to the internet, and it has an IP address of 192.168.254.191. Or you could say also fconfig -a and then enp0s3. This is the interface name. So you gave and instead of -a stands for all. You just want to get that interface, and that interface is this IP address, which is the IPA showed up also. You can also do a grep -i inet, and then that would show exactly on the line that you want to do it. For example, if you just want a specific get the IP address of that one, you say head minus. These are all utilities that comes with Red Hat grep. Head grep stands for global regular expression print. Head is going to give you the head of line 1. And then now I could say awk, which is another utility. It stands for awkward programming, and it's the three pioneer of those developers. And then Kernighan was one of them that is still developing on awk. And then Brian Kernighan, the K. So we're looking at this IP address. If I just want to say print $2, in this case, because this is $1, this $2, and this $3, and so on. So now I could just say print the IP address only. Now I know that is my IP address. I'm going to show you a secure shell to connect to this server. In order to connect to this server, you need SSHD running on this server. This is listening SSHD. So if I say sudo, I could do sudo command, switch user do, and then just write the LSOF, which is another utility, list of open files, -i that comes with Rocky Linux and Red Hat and Ubuntu and all of them. If you're on Solaris machine, you have to install LSOF. It doesn't come with it. So -i colon 22. This is going to prompt me for the password. I type in the password. Now you can tell that, okay, SSHD is listening on this server. It is listening, and then the process ID of it is 952. So if I just do the same thing with -p for process ID 952 to look at all the sub processes that are open, these are the list of all of them. And if I just do a 5 more, one screen at a time, that's another utility. So you're watching a lot of utilities here that are running on Linux by default. And that is already there. So at this time, if I just say, well, that's great, SSH is listening it. There's a command also, systemctl, status SSHD, that it tells you that as secure shell daemon, the daemon is up and running, it's active, and it is listening on port 22. And then this is the process ID of it is 952. You can see that this all good. And then I can also do secure shell on this one, say, do a cat on it, and it will show all the directives that are used by that process ID. I mean, the secure shell daemon, it will just on that service, actually. There's a service. So I could also do a cat or show. And then this show is going to give me more parameters, more values. So I have to do a 5 more. And you can see the secure shell daemon is listening with these directives on it. The default values are set. And the way it is there, there's a file called lib systemd system, and then SSHD. So you can see that for SSHD, there's some daemon services here. And there's one app as the instance of it. That's what app means, instance of it. There's a search for socket. And then the client and server, they both have access for it. So the way the configuration of SSH is, if you look at the etc SSH directory, there's a file called SSH_config, which is the client version that from this machine you can connect outside. And there's a one SSHD, which is the daemon for listening as a server that other machine could connect to this machine. So whenever you say systemctl status SSHD, it says it's active and running. That means port 22 is listening. Like I could show you the sudo LSOF -i colon 22. It shows there. You could also do netstat -an. Netstat is another utility like LSOF, but netstat is showing you the port that are there listening. So if I say -an and then grep -i listen, I could say -i, I could quite listen in lowercase, doesn't matter, or uppercase. It's going to show all the ports that are listening. But if I want to say, well, yeah, that is too many, I want to just see grep -w22, then I would see the same thing that the SSH was listening to right here, 422. And how do I know that? On grep -w22, there's a file called services. So this one is basically telling you that we're listening for port 22 for SSH here. And then scopy and SSH both allows you to do the services. So as I said that there's a server side, there's a client side. Now we go on a Windows machine, and I just open a terminal. Let me close this one. I open a new terminal, CMD. So we start fresh. And here, it doesn't matter where you are. Windows operating system now comes with SSH client installed. And you can also install Bitwise application, which I did here. And you can, through some nice graphical user interface, you can SSH and multiple connection. You can come with it as you do it right now. I'm on another host named My Web University, which is my production machine on the Linux or Ubuntu. You can see OS-release. This one is showing you the Linux Ubuntu long-term support there. So if I just open a SSH connection, I can connect it through this, or I can go through for command line. So if I do as a command line without any argument, this one is showing that you need to provide a location and what user you want to log into as. And then you can also do scopy. It will give you a syntax. The secure copy is also there. Both SSH and scopy are part of the secure shell software. So when you do SSH, you are remotely logging into another server. When you do scopy, you're secure copying a file from a remote location to the local location, or from a local location, you're uploading it to a remote location. And most of our jobs nowadays is through these kind of encryption and secure cipher, strong cipher SSL keys that you have to use. And then if you don't have this kind of software installed, then you're not on the network doing thousands of other kind of manipulation of transaction through these files on a daily basis, then you're only locally connected. You're not doing too much work. The more work you do is on the remote side, that you're running on multiple servers on a HPC, high performance computing, multiple nodes, and multiple different servers from one environment to the another one. All of that one requires this kind of software. Secure Shell is a very nice utility, and Secure Scopy is very nice utility. There's another one, Secure FTP, which is similar to Scopy. There's rsync. There's all of these utilities that comes on both nowadays on both Linux as well as Windows operating system, as well as Mac OS X. Mac is Unix, and Unix also support these ones from day one. So let's get this to do this one. I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna look at that IP address that I showed you earlier here. If I just say IPA, that was the IP address 191. So since I'm on this subnet, remember that I said netstat minus RN, it tells me that I'm on a 192.168.254.254 gateway, which is my local LAN for this one. So this is all local to my machine. So when I'm logged on here from these ones, you can see these IP addresses, but anything like, since I'm on the internet through the main Windows host machine through VM, I could just say nslookup google.com, and I get the IP address of google.com. Similarly, if I say nslookup, and that's another utility, and its name server lookup stands for. And then you can say www.mywebuniversity.com, and you will just get that one. But if I just say something like my web university, which is this other machine that I connected it, that one is, notice that is 192.192.54.194. That one is actually my other Linux Ubuntu server. This is, I named it my web university. And if I just go here, let's just go quickly and log into it. I'm jumping back and forth with these ones because these ones, they give you so many chances for all these utilities that you can do. So IPA here, it will tell you that I'm on 194 here. And if I just say IPA and then do a grep -i inet, then you can see that this one is on third line. I could say I didn't do fconfig, so I could do same thing. Now I could do a utility called head minus 3. So it gets all the 3 of them, but then I have to tail minus 1 on it to get the last one, and then do up, and then print $2. That would just give me the IP address. But notice that this one is the showing you a /24. And if I just say, well, get rid of the /24, I could just do a set minus E, and then substitute. Set stands for a stream editor. And then I could say 24, get rid of the 24, and then 24, and then slash, and then G, and that would just give you that. And if I want to get rid of /24, I have to backspace slash, and that would take care of it. Notice the set stream editorial, it is just really nice here. And there's another utility you could also do, and instead of that one, you could say cut minus D, delimiter and slash, and then minus F1, field 1. Let me just clear the screen because I could hardly see what I typed. And right here, single quote, double. If you start with single quote, you have to close it with double quote. I went single quote, and then vice versa. If you start with double quote, you have to close it with double quote. And then if I want to just get the 24, then I get field 2. So that is what looks like on the IP addresses. So this one is also listening. If I say systemctl as a status SSD, you can see that it's listening. But this one is listening on that IP address. So I'm going to show you how to do secure copy to this machine, which is Rocky. And then this one, as you can see here, the IP address, IPA, and then grep minus inet. And you can see that it is this one, third one. So I could do the same syntax like last time I did here. I could say head minus 3. That's one utility, and then tail minus 1. That's another utility, and then awk, and then print $2. That would just give me the name. And then again, if I want to get rid of the other one, I could just do a cat minus D delimiter slash, and then minus F1. That would give me an IP address. So since I know that this is IP address, notice that at this time I am not doing any SSH to this one with the username Wahid or anything. So if I just look at this one, let's just open a SSH connection to this IP address. I'm coming back here on the command line. On command line, I could say SSH minus L Wahid, and then IP address is 192.168.1.254, and then I believe it was 191. Yeah, 191. So I have to log into 191.191, and then it will prompt me for password. If I have a valid password, I authenticate through that login and password. Now I'm logged on there. If I say, who am I? It's gonna say, you're at this, coming from this IP address. So this is my local IP address on the Windows machine. How do I know that one? Let me just open another terminal here by clicking here. Now I'm on a PowerShell. I could just close this one. If I want to just open a command prompt, I type in command, and that would just show the same thing. So now notice that I'm on command prompt here, but over there I'm logged on as that. So if I just say here, set command, and then you could see all the list of all the environment variable that are there. One of the environment variable is the user profile, username. So if I just clear the screen here, and I say echo dollar percentage user name percentage. That tells me that it's there. Or I could say use the set command and then do a find /I for Wahid. Search for anything that has the value Wahid in it. So user name has Wahid and other ones, some of the variables that under the path is set. And then the one that I was interested was username or user profile, which is this directory. So if you say echo percentage user profile percentage, you could see that it is showing the same thing. So how do I know that, okay, I'm coming from this machine, but remember the machine IP address was showing that 179. So when we do a clear screen, do IP config here, and Linux is fconfig, and then Windows is IP config. IP config /all will give you everything 5 more. It will show you all the information here. And then one of the information here that is going to display is the IP address of the server. So by default, if you just clear the screen, if you just say IP config 5 more, you see the IP address right away on the one of the machine that shows right here. IP version 4 address, you can see that is there. You can also do the same thing here and then clear the screen. If you do this command, say find a string /I and then IP version 4. IP4, that one will just show the IP version 4 address and it's there. Because I searched for this one, ignoring the case. And if you, instead of this one, say find, it will also find it. In this case, because that string is found on the output of this command. So now, since I just come in on that one, on the Linux server that I logged on right here, it just says that I'm coming from that IP address. So now I'm connected there, PS minus EFA grep minus I SSH. You can see that it is one of them is saying is listening, and then the other one it says user Wahid is logged on as at this PTS1, and then that is showing my connection. I could also do SSH minus. Let's see. I could do sudo su sudo lsof minus I colon 22, and then just type in the password. Whether I do it from this shell or I do it from this other shell, it is the same. PS minus EF grep minus I SSH. It will show you that, and if I just let's up arrow that one, and then you can also say sudo lsof minus I port 22, and then type in the password. So on a shell that I'm connected here, I'm using that one, and you can see the host name is showing here, but on the prompt here, when you see the host name, is just exactly the same information showing that you're connected there. And you can also do LSOF on this process ID. So if I just say sudo, I'm going to do LSOF minus process ID 4210, and you can see all the process, and then it tells me that I'm connected through this one. Everything is there on the list of modules that are shared object files that are open. Everything is there, so you can get a number of things. But let's just do another thing here. I'm going to just create a directory called make a directory while I'm here. Let's just leave this one here, and right here I'm gonna make a directory called demo. Demo is there? No. So I'm gonna say clear screen. I'm gonna say ls minus ld demo is not there. I'm gonna say make dir demo. So now I created this demo that the directory is there, right? So let's just say that it is there. I'm going to have no files on it yet. So the permission of this directory's demo is Wahid, so it is good. That means I can upload files here. So let's just use this copy to put some of the GIF files here. So how do I do that one? I go on command prompt here. Let's go to a directory where I have some GIF files or JPEG files or something. So I'm gonna go to demo images and then generic. Now directory start a JPEG. I have these two files there. I'm gonna just delete one of them. For example, let's say that tn star.jpg. First, I want to show you how I automated my program, my thumbnail program. So this is .jpg, and then I wrote this Python program that I called thumbnail underscore image.py, which it reads an image file. So if I just say start at this image file, notice that this one you can run it on because it's Python, it will just do it on anything. So this would be the thumbnail for today's session, Linux how-to apps and utilities, video number 14 too, and we're discussing Rocky. So because this image I created through the PDF file from this screen here, I did a screen capture of this one, save that one as JPEG file. In order to just actually put it on YouTube as a thumbnail, I have to size it by 16:9, and then different resolution, different sizing. So what I did here, if you look at it, I'm writing this Python program, and I run this utility called thumbnail.py, which I wrote, and then I'm just going to run it, and now it just created the same file as a thumbnail for me. So this file is now created, and it opened on the screen, so I observe it. It looks good, and it did it. Now, if I look at the JPEG, there's two of them. One was that the original one is this TN underscore, which is stand for thumbnail. So then I upload this one as my thumbnail. But I'm going to show you these two files. I'm going to upload it, and you can see the size of this one is a smaller one because I put it 16:9. So otherwise, YouTube will not accept that one as a valid size for thumbnail. So I wrote that program to just do some graphic imaging, and then change the resolution and everything else there. And let's just upload it. So in order to upload it, I do scopy. And if I want to do one of them at a time, I could say Rocky and then this. And then that would just do it. But I want to do both of them. So I could say star.jpg. Both of them has the same extension. Then I'm going to say username Wahid at 192.168.254.191 what directory I want to put it at. So I'm going to put it under home Wahid, and then the directory was demo in uppercase, and I want to put a dot here, meaning that just write it as the same file name there. Then it's prompting me for password. I type in the password, and now the files are uploaded, and it shows me that it's done 100% successfully done. So let's just go back to the Linux server, which is this one. You could go on this one, or you could go on the command prompt here. That is both the same thing. On the command prompt here that I SSH, clear my screen here, pwd. Now if I go to the demo directory, clear screen, and those two files are there. Similarly to the file that was there, you say a start. So on Windows, you say start, and then or double click on the file, and this image file will open, right? So this is the file that is the utility, and that opens You can also go on the file manager and then go to the directory where generic is, and then look for the TN and double click on it, it will open it. So whether you run it with the start command or just call or something, depend on the application that you're using. So on the Red Hat machine, there's no start command, but there's this image viewer that you can do, or go under the file manager and then do it. So let's go to the file manager. This is another tool that you can open apps and other utilities. So I put it under the demo directory, and then these are the two images. It should define it and it should open it. And it does it right here. And notice that it is a little bit kind of compressed in terms of like how it looks, but that is not a problem, because I'm gonna post it, the one that I have done it on the Windows side, so that will be the right size. But the way it looks, it doesn't matter on a different platform. It works on the thumbnail the way I have written it. So I'm going to close this one, and then I'm going to just go under the activity. And then earlier we were looking at image viewer, and there was one of these utility called image viewer, I believe, right here. This one. So now you have the images. If you don't have an image, you can click here and say open, and then look at the directory where you have it. So under home, I have this demo, and these two files are there. You can just open it. And then obviously you can size them or just make it smaller or bigger, depending on how you want to see it. So that is the image viewer. And then if you want to see the other one, you could just go in here, double click in image viewer. So this is another utility. So I showed you how to do his copy, and how to secure shell, and how to look at the image. Now let's look at some other files and some other tools. One of the utilities that I showed you is file manager. And the file manager is similar to Windows Explorer, file manager of Windows. So when you go to a directory, wherever the images files are there, you could just open any of them. You just look at them and close them as you're done with them. And if you look for a program that is a program name, you could just open that one. But on the image viewer, file manager, also you can go on the programs here. And then if you look at the content of a Python program, for example, go on the Python here. And then let's say under the demo, I'm going to say, for example, text to audio program. This was just like doing the Python. So you can see the program as well as that way. But let's go to, this is a text file. You can open the text file as well. And then this is an MP3 file. So it's I wrote this program that it gave the input as text to audio, and then generate the MP3 file for it, and then just you can play.
Welcome to my Web University free educational videos. Please subscribe for more videos like this. youtube.com/@mywebuniversity.
So you see that whatever the text file was, that w2.txt, it read that one and just give you a graphic interface. The file manager and everything, this program reads this text file and it just generates that file, and then it gives you the output there. So there's a lot of utilities and programs that I'm making, and I'm going to just be very happy to provide it to you guys, and then you guys learn from it and understand it. My job is to teach anyone that is interested in computer science related topics, and hopefully you will pass on the same kind of good deeds to newer generation or younger generation as you learn it. And then this kind of legacy will go for years and decades and many years, that everybody is going to help out the society and help the community around yourself, and make a better life for everybody. So let's get started with another documentation that I provided on this one. So under the activities, for example, you also have these options to just look at something under utilities. You have this document viewer. Document viewer is a very nice software that I wrote some Python programs to just generate the entire manual pages for Linux, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Rocky, and everything on Windows, including Windows, and generate PDF files for it, because there's no PDF files. And usually people on the internet, they have access to almost nothing unless you search on Google, and just for everything you have to do another query, another query, another query. There's no one place fit all kind of documentation that you could go. But my job is trying to make that kind of things easier for everybody. So I built this in my web university, which is on a secure page, and I'm putting videos that I post on YouTube, as well as I wrote this book online that is about 10 chapters. Each chapter is almost a book by itself. For example, this latest one that I put, chapter 10, it just talks about the Linux Rocky release 9.2 manual pages, and I did it on a PDF format. So this is an additional thing that I did work on Labor Day weekend, and I'm very happy to provide you all this for free online in a PDF format. And just to tell you how much of this work is involved, you have to be involved, logged on a Rocky machine, first of all, to read a manual pages. And then secondly, even if you have an account on a Rocky Linux machine, then you have to type in each command one by one in order to know what is the name of the command, how to get the manual pages. You have to know the command with the proper syntax and everything. Then when you do it, you're still getting in a text format. For example, if I'm logged on Rocky Linux on this machine, for example, I SSH to it. Let's just say I SSH to it. I could say man pwd. This pwd is going to show me on the output in a text format. And similarly, if I'm on the actual Rocky machine on a VM that I say here, let's just close these ones. If I just say clear screen, clear screen, I say man printf statement, you could see that section 1 of printf statement comes in. If I say man minus S3 printf statement, that's the standard IO.h C function calls a printf as printf, all of that one are available here, right? So you could get section 1 or section 2, or by default, if you do man mount, you could see the mount command is section 8, administrator command. But if you say man minus S8 mount, it will just give you the same output, because you know that it's belong to section 8. But if you just say man printf statement, since I didn't specify, it looks by default section 1. And then that's why I get it there. If you do a scanf, for example, it is section 3, because there's no section 1 manual page for scanf. So the target zip file, everything that is there, if you look at the user share man, all of these manual pages that are here, there's files on it. So there's a utility on Linux, in Unix, called find. And so if I say find user share man minus type f, meaning show me all the files that are there, don't show me directly. Notice all of them are a .zip file. So I had to look at all these files and get the list of them, generate the thing. It's a lot of work. And then on top of it, I had to write a Python that converts the text to HTML and everything in order to just produce you this. And then notice that this is maybe 11,000 something files. And then I produced this one, a combination of shell scripting and Python scripting, CSS, HTML. The shell script made this nice PDF table, but the actual Python program generated for each section a PDF file. And inside the PDF file, I just gave credit to my web university, which is my website, as well as Python programming language, the Python interpreter, Rocky Linux, the operating system that I use, the manual pages, and then the FPDF module, that PDF module within Google Text to Search or whatever other modules, in this case for PDF, not text to speech, because that's another program that I'm working on, that you could just also have a reader for this one. So I have it already on Windows platform available for this one. Let me just show you on Windows platform. So my web university / Windows_11. See, like for example, on the Windows 11, I already must have typed something here. Oh God, otherwise it would have come by now. www.mywebuniversity.com. So this one, you can see that the PDF file is there for every command. Similarly, if you look at the type command, for example, it shows you the PDF file, as well as you can also listen to the audio file for it. So I have made some Windows video that you can listen to these ones, like just clicking here.
Displays the contents of a text file or files. Type drive, path, file name.
And then I'm working on Linux Rocky for that one also. So stay tuned and make sure that you are subscribing and watching it. But notice on the Linux Rocky version, so if I look at the printf function, you can see that printf section 1, you can click on it and you will see the documentation here for it. Same thing that we looked at the command line. But the nice thing about my web university, I'm providing you these thousands of documentation pages on a PDF format for you online. You don't have to be in front of a Linux machine in order to see that same output, or a Windows machine in order to see the same output. Everything is on a browser. As long as you have internet access in a browser and the desire to look at it, you're welcome to read any of them. So if you're looking for section 3 of them, obviously if you do Control F here, you say print F, and then shows 1 of 16. You click on it, and then the one that's section this is sprintf, I believe. So you could just say, okay, this is a sprintf statement, or AS printf statement, and then function. You could just read it, and then it tells you how many pages is it and how long is it and all of that. So this is for Linux Ubuntu. Rocky Linux. And then the way I made that one available, I can also look at this one from a screen on this one. And notice that since I'm opening on a browser, you always have a choice to just read a portion of it or read the entire thing into, like for example, let's say I open this one. I'm not sure what this command is, add or to line. So if you look at this one, you just highlight this section or whatever, and then say on right click on it, and just say more action. Well, one of them it says read loud or aloud, right? Read aloud section right here. It's gonna read it for you. You can right click on it or do Control Shift plus U. And then if it doesn't read that fast, because sometimes it has a lot of information here that has to do it, you can Control X here and just look at a small portion of it, and then do Control Shift U or read loud, and it's going to start reading for you.
/man address 2 line.1 ADDR2 line 1 new development tools ADDR2 line 1 name address 2 line Convert addresses into file names and line numbers. Synopsis address 2-line. Addresses. Beef name target equals
You can
name.
pause it, you can change the character here, and all of those options are there. I'm going to stop this one because I know that I'm introducing you a lot of things on this video, and it's going to be a lot overwhelming. But let me just tell you, like for example, on this host machine that I just showed you on a web browser, this is the directory, all the PDF files are there. So I posted all of the PDF files there, and I made that nice HTML page for you, so you could just get it in a very nice format, easy. All you do is click on it and then just watch or read it. So how many of these PDF files are there? There's a utility called WC for word count. Then you can just say, okay, 11,498 PDF files here. And how do I know that one? Is basically under the user share there's that many manual pages, 11,498 Rocky version. So you will learn the in and out of the operating system with coming into my web university. What I teach you is that is maybe at least 30 years of experience through programming and operating system and software engineering and database and operating system administration, system analysis, consulting, all of that experience. I'm just going to summarize it for you in each videos, and you're welcome to watch it and learn it. And then there's no cut and paste on my videos. It's everything is just internally codes and codes of software, and then I'm just translating it in the language that I can make it easy on the learning online, make it online programming or online teaching tools that you can benefit from it. So like these ones, I say practical learning Windows 11. If you look at it, for example, I'm discussing the version command or the type command or the help command. You could see that how easy it is to just learn it online, practice it online, and everything else. And on other PDF files and utilities, I've already did advanced levels there. So when you come into my webuniversity.com, you're not only seeing this documentation. If you look at the C and C++ header files, similarly, you have it there. And then at the same time, each one of them that you look at, if there's tools for it, it will just show you there all the information here. And then if you look at the, for example, chapter 8 for Linux Ubuntu, similarly PDF files for Linux Ubuntu, there's some 6,500 PDF files. Each one of them, notice that this one is manual page for Ubuntu. So I give myself the credit, the Python, the Linux Ubuntu, and all the other PDF files, and then PDF. And so let's just go to another set of utilities that we could use on this one. If you're on a Rocky Linux machine, for example, how do you open these FPDF readers? So as we discussed the tools, let me go back here, and then I'm going to go to Rocky. I'm going to show this one and type in my password. Okay, another thing that you could do is, for example, here under utilities, here, if you look at the utilities, just under utility, we had document viewer. So document viewer, you can also go to a document directory, which I did open in the same directory that I have for Rocky. Under the Python, I have this Rocky directory. And before I upload it to my web university, I built it here. So I built that PDF file, and now each PDF file is actually in the format that I showed you on the web server, on the my web university web server. And you can see that the size here, you can do all kind of information, get it automatic, fit to page, or make it smaller, make it bigger. So all of that options are here. So if you go at 125 or 130, depending on 150, you can get the size, and you can go to different page. It shows you what page number you are. It has a nice stuff here also. And then you could have all these other open the copy and everything else. So this software that is called the document viewer is also called events. So let me just close this one. If I say which events, electronic events, so let's say I say the utility here, DNF, is another program, which is a replacement for Yellow Dog Update Manager. The newer version is called DNF. Fedora DNF has been on Red Hat 8.6 and up. So we go DNF and then say events, list events. This will just show me the events. So if I say RPM minus QA, Red Hat Package Manager is another utility that you can use, or and then say events. So that would show you the events is installed, the packages x86 64-bit. I could do a QL, query long listing, rather than query all. I do QL on all of them. So then you can say, well, just do that one and show me the binaries, grep minus I. So there's two binary. One is called events, and the other one is events viewer. Remember when I did this one, there was a lot more output to the RPM. Some of them are the user share help manual pages. So if I just say man events, it tells me that events is a known document viewer. Earlier, when we were looking at it, it was showing a document viewer. At the same time, the see also section of it most likely is going to point to that viewer. This bin directory, events previewer, is if I say man events dash previewer, then this one is just for printing purpose. You could preview something. It shows a printing preview of a post and PDF document. So in order for you to do it, if you just do events itself, it's gonna start that one. So if you're in that directory, it opens the last document that you already opened it. You can look at it. But if you say, no, let me just go in the browser and then say, go to another window or something, you could do it. Or you could say, let me just close this one and then start off from the directory I want to open it. So I'm going to go here under programs and then under Python, CD to Rocky, and start.pdf. Notice there's a lot of them. So let's do a zmore.1.pdf. That file is there, man zmore. You can see zmore, it does this. Basically, it does a more on the zip compressed file. Or man znew, you could see that it recompresses as .z file to a .ganzip file. So the PDF file znew is a znew.1.pdf. If I want to open it, that one I say z event, events, and then znew, and then I could just press tab, it is automatically open. And then you can see that, okay, that it reads the same manual pages in a nice format here. Similarly, if I'm on my web university, under this one, I could do Control F, and then I type in znew, and it's gonna search for znew. If it is not there, znew, let's see if it is zmore. Yeah, zmore is there, znew. Most likely it is not listed. I must have missed that one. I have to check on it there. But the zmore is there. So let me check on one thing here on the command line, since I'm already there. Man zmore. Okay, Z more is there. Now Z new. Yeah, Z new is also part of this. And then if I say let's myself start Z new. Yeah, Z new dot one dot PDF is there. Why did it not show on this list? I'm going to check on it. See Z new. Control F Z new. Okay, so Z new is not there. I'm gonna go to see if I could regenerate that page to see if it gets added to the file. So let me work on it right now. Sudo sudash. I'm gonna become root first. Okay, let me just pause the video for a second because I don't want to just give the code out for a second. Pause recording. Okay, I just run the script again and it created this table again. As you can see, it is all about the Rocky Linux. So if I just go search for ZNew now, it will find it and it just shows here. And if I click on it, it is a Rocky version on ZNew and it is showing the PDF files for it. So that's what I meant by just rerunning the automation tools. It is good to automate your system so you could just fix it on the fly rather than just rewrite the whole thing. So let's get to continue with the rest of the video that I'm going to finish it soon because it's we have covered a lot of the stuff here. And then Rocky version 9, so I'm showing you here, and you could see, oh, excuse me. So the list of utilities that are available for you or already installed that is there, as well as you have these list of things that you can do on this. For example, under the file manager, you have like Jupyter Lab if you want to run it, calculator, and then there's a number of other utilities here that I don't want to cover all of them, but just as a test, you can also, under this one, you have these characters that are the default. You can see that there's different fonts. These are coming by default on your system. So you're welcome to look at each one of them in details and look at the options that you have there, okay? So let me just go back here under the activities. Like for example, htop, this is a utility that you can run it from the command line also. That is the graphical utilities. I installed it. This one is by default, top is there. That runs on every Linux and Unix machine that shows your process activities. htop is a graphic version of it, the htop. And then you can do a lot of arguments with it. I have made other videos and other people made up other videos. You're welcome to look at them as well. There's another utility called Tmax that you could, if it is not installed, you can install it. Whenever a utility is not installed, this is for a screen kind of capture information. So if you're just saying that, well, go ahead, do this one and run the program. So now if I say which Tmax, that Tmax is not installed, let's do sudo sudash, and then I'm gonna just install it. So I say DNF install Tmax. That's a terminal multiplexer, that's what it is. So here I have done it now. If I just open another terminal, say, make it big here, and then I could say, make it not too big. I made it too big, so let me just open another terminal and make it view screen here. So if I just run this one and say Tmax, and then you can see now I have open a Tmax, and by default I'm using this default shell. So if I could do shift control B, and then let me just say percentage here, shift control B. No, control shift B, I think it is. I forgot the combination of the one. Let me just do man Tmax. Since I'm already there, let me open another one here. Say man Tmax. Yeah. Shift control B, control plus the B is the default one, Tmax. Control B. So control B, not shift, and that's what it was. I'm going to close this one. Say close it, and then here I'm on this one, control and B, and then percentage. You could just open here. And if you want to just go to this other terminal, control B, and then just go back to the right and then say run top command here, and then control B, and then go to the right, and here I just say run htop, for example. So now I have just if I even go log out of the system from my terminal, later on someday I come back and these terminals are going to be sitting on the same stage that I have. There's a lot of arguments with the htop also. Like, I'm sorry, Tmax, you could say Tmax ls, it will show the current there, the one that if I say detach it, it create a new session. There's a lot of arguments, so just dash help maybe. Well, Tmax by itself, every time you run it, it opens a new one. Notice now I just open a new window. So each one of them, if you exit out and then you say Tmax ls, you will just have another session here. But that one, I'll just dedicate a particular session so I can go in and out of it. At this time, I'm just showing you that this is a very good utility that the old style we used to do a screen and no hop and other ones. And now Tmax is provided, and you could just do multiple window. You can open horizontal window and a vertical window. So you could just say control B and then use the double quote here. Now you have open another type of vertical or horizontal videos. I mean, notes. So here, if I just run the command, I can do whatever I want to do, and then just you can also assign it, rename it, and everything. I am going to dedicate a video for that purpose. So let me exit out of these ones. I don't need it, and I just don't need to demonstrate more of that one. I'm exit out of it now. Say Tmax, Tmax ls, and it's going to show that no servers there because I exit out of it. If I was setting it, then it would, every time you just type in Tmax, it just opens a new server here for it. And then if you just control B and detach, you are detached here Tmax ls, now your session is still available. So you could do a number of things. I'm going to say Tmax-kill minus terminal 0. So now kill server or dash kill window dash kill window maybe, or kill session, sorry, kill session, and then turn this will do it now. Tmax dash ls, it will not show anything. So the way you created it, say Tmax, and then now there's there control B, control B detach Tmax ls, and then now if I want to just kill that session, if I want to get back to that Tmax, and then I say tmax dash t target 0. Let's see what is the connection to go to that tmax socket. So tmax dash t maybe there's a dash connect or something. Let's see if I say connect man tmax. Let's see how you connected with dash. T is the target. Max, sorry, slash dash connect. You can tell I haven't refreshed my mind for a while on this one. Each one of these the argument minus C shell to connect. Oh, attach minus A for attach. I just remembered. So you say T max minus A for attach minus target 0, and that would attach it. No. Let's see, T max. By default, now it opens a new one. So Control B, detach, and then T max. Now I have 2 of them. Minus L, it shows I open a third one. T max dash ls. I'm sorry, clear screen. T max ls. That's 0 and 1. So I'm gonna say T max dash target attach. T max dash attach, and then dash target is 0. Let's see if that's how you attach it. The commands comes in as I think about it, because some years ago I used these ones. So let's just detach it from it. Control B and D for detach. Now if I say ls, it's gonna do that one. If I want to say tmax attach dash target 1, it will attach to the target 1, as you can see here, target 1. And then if I just say Control B again here, detach tmax ls, is going to show me. If I want to kill the session for the other one, I say tmax dash kill session dash target 1, and that is killing the first one. 0 is still there. And so if I just want to kill the 0 also, I do the same thing. Now there's nothing. I'm back to normal situation. So that's for tmax. But watch for some other video later on. I may just create one entire video for tmax, how to connect it, and then I'll give you the details on it, because I was just remembering some of them. Sorry about that. So here I'm going to close this window here, and then this window is good, and then this window also I could see Shift plus and make it a little bit bigger. And so this one clear screen, you can see that the host name and my web university at Rocky, that environment got exported properly because of whatever I changed the host name. And the user ID dash UN, it shows Wahid, and then ID dash group name is also Wahid, and then host name is my web university, and then PWD, my current directory is Rocky. So if I do this one I'm in Python, and then if I say echo $, PS1, you can see that /u is the username, @ host name is my web university, and the group shell is Python. I mean Python the directory. So clear screen PWD is going to give me that, and then I could also run the which GCC. So if GCC is installed, you can get the GNU C collection compiler for C compiler. That is very nice that we have there. And then G++ is the GNU C++ compiler also. And then also you have Python that version, you have Python 3.9 and 16. You can also type in Python 3, it will say the same thing. So Python 3 or Python itself is going to go to the Python interpreter here. And if I just say, for example, want to run a command like import os.system, let's clear the screen first. And then I could just run some of the commands. And instead of this, I could say uname -a. I could get that information, cat -n etc rocky -release. It is giving you that. You can also do something like here with other commands rather than OS system. You could say command. Let's just do command is equal. I'm gonna run the hostname command here in a list. We're gonna create a list. Say hostname, and then let's do just that one plus systemctl status sshd. Those two commands I'm going to run in there. So I say for command and commands, what do you want to do? I want to say stream, open a stream there, and then say os dot process open. And then I'm going to just say open the command. And as you open the command, I want to write the output of the stream, the stream.read to the output file, the output variable, and then print the output here. So this is what is going to just run the hostname command, give me the output, and run the systemctl status, give me output. So something went wrong because I defined command, and here I did the commands. So I'm gonna just up arrow here and do this one commands, and then now do the same for statement again, and then use the same kind of stream here, and same output, and same print output, and now it should work. And it did. So the host name is My Web University, as you can see here. And then this was the statement that we used, commands. And then host name is My Web University, and then the output of the system SSHD status is showing here. I'm going to quit out of here. And if you run, like for example, Jupyter Lab, since I installed it, Jupyter-Lab is going to start Jupyter Lab from command line. And if you have it installed, automatically comes in, because I saw it on the graphical interface, that it means it's there. And so now I have Jupyter Lab. I can open a terminal. I can run the command cal df-h, whatever, exit out of this one. I could go to the cells, and I could say aliases, and then just run the command alias, and then do a clear command, because that is there. And then if I just do, and the cell doesn't mean anything, right? So you could do ls and then see if the alias ls is there. It will do that one. Ls magic, desktop magic, percentage ls magic. And you have line magic as well as cell magic. You can look at them depending which one you want to do. You can do the cell magic, which could be shell or a Python or debug or HTML, Perl, everything is there. And at the same time, you can also do import os.system, and then let's say clear screen here, and then run this one. Again, system clear screen does not mean on the cell, but you could say, instead of clear screen, you could say run the command, for example, path, echo and $path. And then this one is echo $path, will just show you the path of your environment. Any environment variable, you could say, and instead of environment variable, you could run that env command, system, then env command, and then run that one, you could just get it. So env is all lowercase. And then this is Linux, so it's case sensitive. If it was Windows, you could do a set. For example, here, you just type in set. Whether you write set in uppercase or lowercase, it runs. Or echo percentage path in uppercase or lowercase, it will still work. On the other hand, here, if you say, for example, some information import sys module and then sys dot executable and then you can get the executable path of the binary of Python or sys dot path. You could get the path of the sys or the list of modules that are there for you available, sys dot version info. All of that details are on that there. Directory of sys will just give you everything details on there. Okay, so I'm gonna exit out of this one also. You go under file and then say shutdown right here, and then this will shut down this, leave it, and then right here it give me the prompt back here. You can also start that one from the activity here under the list of tools here. OpenJDK is another one. Jupyter Lab is the one that I just showed you, that I opened it. So this is what it opens it on port 888, like from command line, and the same interface. So I'm gonna exit out of this. Once you install it, they're there. And for C and C compiler, let's see if I go to C++ code here, and then look at the demo, something with demo, demo, clear screen, restore dot demo. Let's say I have one called while demo.c++. So if I go to while demo.c++, cat minus n while demo1.c++ is that the code here. And so if I look at that code and I want to just say, look at all the files that are there, I'm going to remove a while demo1 binary, and I'm going to only have the while demo.1. So if I look at the ls here, and I just want to say while demo1 dot start. So I only have one binary here, and I want to generate this. One source code .c++. I want to generate the executable. If I just say G++ for the output and say while demo1.c++, by default it creates a.out file. File a.out is the executable link format, 64-bit executable link format, as you can see here. So I can say a.out and it will just run that code and show me the odd and even numbers that are there. But at the same time, if I say gcc -o while demo1 and from while demo1.c++, now I just created. Let me just do this command again. While demo1 and while demo1.c++. What happened here? Say some errors. Undefined reference and everything. So some of the. Let me just check on this one. I'm gonna make the screen a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's say C++. cd.c++. So I'm on the C++, and let's look at what we have here. And so if I look at the while demo1, G++ -o while demo1 and then while demo one.c++. It did create it. I was typing something wrong. So it did create it and it was good, everything. So while demo, I must have typed in something there that I didn't pay attention. So while demo is there, is executable and you can see the timestamp of while demo is right now, while demo one. This file is September 11, 2351, and it's 2351. So if I just run it now while demo one, it is going to just do the same thing. And if I just want to see one page at a time, I see from the top on until to the end. So clear the screen, go to C directory. Remember I showed you GCC, that version. That's another GNU C collection compiler for C compiler. So when you do GCC that version, you know that you have the GCC, which GCC is there, which G++ is there. We just showed you the C++ compiler. I'm going to show you the GCC compiler. So man GCC also give you all that information that you need. And if you look at this directory, let's look at any file that has the extension .c. So again, if we look at the same while statement, maybe this time we look at the for statement. So for demo.c cat -n for underscore demo 1.c. It is just about 18 lines. So it reads a max from this one, and it goes from number to the max, and then it just prints the value of the number is. So that is easy to just compile. And instead of this, I'm going to just say GCC -o for underscore demo 1. So now I have created for underscore demo 1 with the timestamp of today. You can see ls-l, and if I run for underscore demo 1, it will just run the same thing. Okay, and then let's say cat hello.c. That file is just saying hello, welcome to mywebuniversity.com. So I say GCC -o hello, and then hello.c, and then now say hello. We'll do that one. If I don't give any argument with that -o as an output, I could create it to say GCC hello.c. It will create a.out, and a.out will just do the same output as that one. File a.out and hello is both of them are executable in format 64-bit. Okay, and then clear screen LDD a.out and LDD hello will show you the executable link format with all the shared object files that are there, virtual dynamic shared object files that are linked with it, and library C library, and so on, Linux and so on. Okay, so that is about that. And then I think we covered enough for this video. I'm gonna stop it here because it's 11:55. I need to sleep. You guys have a great one. Take care. God bless you all. Bye bye now.